Hello, and thanks for joining the session. Today we're working on rewriting that podcast. On the last episode, we managed to lose the browser. Let's see here. Nope, that's not the right key. Commands. Divi, there we go. Appears to be having issues. Along with other things here. Looks like my system is behaving a little different than usual. Still not working. Let's try it again. There we go. Hello, and thanks for joining the session. Today we're going to be working on rewriting that podcast. On the previous episode, we started to work on embedding MP3, or embedding the episode MP3 with metadata. And it seemed to be working all right. Let me see if I can pull up the file here. There we go. So we actually managed to declare it as a podcast type. We generated the actual title for the episode based on the metadata from the episode entity. This information and this information was hard-coded. So just for now, it's hard-coded because we don't really need to do anything. And then we were able to add a cover photo to the image. This was actually the big bit here, was trying to get content embedded in with an image. And during the session, I actually had the idea to try and do something to combine these somehow. Rather than just having the background image by itself, or just having the podcast cover photo, I was wondering if I could actually combine them. And the thing that I was basing this on was the Twitter player. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. So if we look at one of our episodes here, Twitter type, no, there we go. So Twitter player. We actually have a custom view specifically for the player on Twitter. So what I'd like to do, I don't know why it's behaving strangely. Let's see here. Let's look at it from iPhone 5. It's still doing something weird. I haven't quite figured out this mobile view. There we go. This is more what I was expecting to see. I want to see if I can get a sort of background here, maybe put the proper cover photo in the corner, and then maybe try to figure out how to do the type. The only thing that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do very well is get this type flowing nicely. It looks like we have some very long titles, so it's easy to do if you have HTML and you're pinning the content to the bottom and it just flows up. I'm not sure that we'll have quite the same flexibility when we start dealing with actual image libraries. Looks like Josh just joined chat. Hey Josh, how you doing today? All right, so let's go ahead and see what we have in Symfony land for using images out of the box. So let's do image. So there's Imagine bundle. That's a contributed package. I think that Imagine is the one that I was planning on using anyway, because I think I've heard of that and I may have actually used it in the past. So let's see what Imagine looks like and see what kind of functionality it's actually going to give us. Let's see, tweet using PHP Imagine. I'm actually going to do that right now because why not, right? PHP Imagine. All right, and then I'll get a link. So again, I don't really know what the full functionality is here. I'm probably not going to spend a lot of time trying to figure out if I'm going to use which one of these. I should see what Heroku supports. Extensions. How to install GD. So it has GD. Let's see what else it has. Which other packages did it say it supported? So GD, Imagemagick, and Gmagick. So let's see if Imagemagick. Okay, following third parties can be enabled. All right, so we can choose between GD and Imagemagick, it looks like. Ooh, no, that's 5.6. Let's see what we can do for 7. So we have GD. Can be enabled through Composer JSON. Can be enabled through Composer. All right, so we have both GD and this here. Well, I don't know what the difference is between these two. Built-in extensions have been built. Third-party extensions can be enabled. Okay, so they've been built. These are the built-in extensions that have been enabled, and these are third-party extensions that can be used. So we have access to both GD and Imagemagick. I'm going to see if I can do a real quick check. If anyone's talking about this here. Ooh, all right, we're talking about it. This is a fairly old article, which is faster, less resource intensive. I really want to know which one has the best functionality. Stop from washing away colors. Okay. Looks like Imagemagick might be the better solution here then. If there's known issues that come up quite frequently with GD, I'm going to just avoid that then. All right, so that settles that. All right, so basic principles, introduction to Imagine. Let's see what we have here. I don't know what that's about. All right, oof, no. That's not the type of thing I'm looking for. I guess we'll just check out the docs. All right, so I guess you make a version based on which thing you have. I suppose I should check to make sure my local PHP supports. Oof, so that could actually be a problem. So let's do pickle install. I spelled it wrong, probably. Imagemagick. There we go. Yeah, I might still have to install it. It's not. I don't know. Yeah, it's not going to find it. All right, so Brew, search Imagemagick. Okay, I guess I can just install it as that. So Brew. All right, so the other thing that we're going to have to do, just because this is the way it works with Heroku. Let's see if we can close other tabs. We're going to have to require this package. So code composer rec, and we'll do ext Imagemagick star. Because we'll take any value that's supported, and this will ensure that that extension is installed when this project is deployed. table. So text. Oh, yeah, okay. I actually didn't install it yet, so that makes sense. I installed the underlying dependencies, but I didn't actually install the PHP image, so Composer is not able to find the package. Hopefully we can auto-detect it. All right, so that, hopefully those were just warnings. All right, so cool, so Imagemagick is installed. I can now require it. Sweet. All right, so when we actually deploy this code, it's not going to crash on Heroku because it simply doesn't have the code. I actually took the time to deploy the code for what we've been working on Heroku. So let's go to podcasts.app.com. I think that's what it is. Yep. So we actually have this deployed here for now so that I can actually start testing things out. I actually got the background image uploaded. So locally, we're using Fly System, period. Locally, we're using Fly System to use the local file system, and it's uploading to uploads.thatpodcast.test. It's just going directly somewhere. In production, everything is going to S3. So I actually had to do some things to get that working correctly that we took for granted because we didn't have to deal with some of the issues. And I don't know if it was a Fly System issue, a PHP configuration issue, or whatever, but just to give you a real quick idea of what that was. When we uploaded the background image, originally we were just using file get path. So we're doing our uploaded file get real path. That was not actually working when we were passing that for the file name. So what I had to do was actually use uploaded file and move that file to a brand new file, and then pass this brand new file to be the place where it gets written to down here. So right from file, I wasn't able to use the uploaded file for whatever reason. So I will have to do some more things to some of the other pieces of media that we're uploading to actually get that working. But using the Fly System abstraction did actually work. We are actually uploading content to an S3 bucket, so pretty excited about that. All right, so we have the Imagemagick stuff up and running. Let's see where we're at. Diff require. All right, now what are we going to do? I think we're probably just going to play around with the API and see what sort of things we can do with it. So I should be able to do this now. I wonder, let's see if I can open up this object or this class, see if there's actually an interface that it's using. Oh, you know what? I didn't actually include that dependency yet. So let's do composer rec Imagine. What was the name of that Symfony recipe? Lip Imagine bundle. All right, so yeah, we'll use this. So we need the bundle. So this is one of the, I haven't talked about this in a bit, but this is a contributed package, which means that I actually have to opt in to something special in order to be able to use this bundle. To be able to use the Flux recipes for this bundle. I don't remember if I've already done that for this package, so it may actually ask me. If it doesn't ask me, then I'll have already opted into it. Okay. All right, so let's see what the help they have. You must verify and uncomment the configuration here. You may configure your image transformation library. All right. And then you may want to define custom transformations. That's a bunch of stuff I don't know about yet. So let's go into the config file first. And just as a review, these are the files that it actually changed or added. So it added something to .getignore. That's interesting. I'm not sure what kind of stuff it's going to be ignoring. So, okay, so there's some cache stuff that it's doing apparently. I don't know how useful that's actually going to be for us. It added something to the bundles, which is fine, and then it added config packages and some routes. So let's see what's in the config file first. Actually, I want to see the routes. Image filters. So it looks like it's allowing you to do stuff in the via the URLs. I don't think I want to enable any of this. Wondered if there's anything else in there, but all right, so let's go to the config file. So it says I have to uncomment this whole thing. So it's kind of interesting that I don't know why they didn't just give us the ability to start with something basic. So let's see here. So we're going to use the Imagemagick driver. There we go. Let's see what else. Filter sets. I don't want filters. I don't know what those are. Example, thumbnail transformation definition. I see. So this is actually, I wonder if this, maybe this is what I want. So if I can just declare how I want these things to happen. Border, replacing the image larger black background. Let's see. If it allows you to specify like different images, that could be interesting because we want to be able to overlay several images on top of each other. Let's see what their docs say. Okay, set up the default resolver. Create thumbnails. Create a thumbnail. Set size to 1 and use the outbound mode. Yeah, so what it's doing here is getting the asset and telling it to apply the filter to it. It's not what I want. I want to, I don't want to do this at runtime, essentially. I want to resolve with console. Oops. What I want to do is just have these things generated and just be able to refer to them. Imagine cache resolve. So my thumb. So I'm not sure how much I'm actually going to be doing with the bundle. The bundle may not have actually been much use to me. Let me see what the bundle gave us for debug container, Imagine. All right, so it's all cache stuff. So all of the binary loader default, factory config. It's probably just this that I'm going to be using. Let's see, what number was that? 32. Yeah, so that's just getting this instance, but it doesn't even have a alias service ID. All right. So we were doing this for analyzing content. Let's do remove test and go back in here. just start playing. So create a new image box. Thumbnail inset, thumbnail outbound. Yeah, because this has all sorts of primitives that I think are going to be pretty useful to us. So let's do create size. All right, let's just try this as an example, and then save it. We'll put it in our uploads directory. So image save. All right, so there's image.png. And it looks like it has a PNG image. So that's okay. So uploads image.png. Okay, cool. So this can be our little test bed. So anytime we want to make changes, we'll just write there. So for now, I think the main thing I need to figure out is how to add other images on things. Let me get rid of some of these. There we go. Okay, so must provide a unit system. I think I'll probably do PNGs for these, even if some of the backgrounds are JPEGs. An image collage, but not so easy. 4x4 collage of 16 student portraits. Okay, so this is cool. So there's paste. So if you have an existing photo, you can paste it onto another photo. So let's do color cover photo. Let's see where that's at. Dropbox, shared, that pod. Oh no, it's actually in here now. Assets, public. Isn't it? Not sure why I have to go this way, but that's just the way it is. So we'll do that podcast cover photo, and we'll try to paste this onto the orange box. Cover photo equals, let's see, Imagine open. So that was in assets images. All right, so we should be able to at least run the code now. It's not going to do anything different. So, all right, so that works. Now we can do image, paste, cover photo, and then it looks like we need to specify where we want to paste it. So let's new Imagine point, and let's do 100 by 100. So I think that should be offset a little bit. It also let us know, well, let's actually do 100. Yeah, 100 by 100. And we should probably do that before we save. So I'm going to move this to the bottom. Image, save. There we go. All right, so I think that should work. Uncaught, out of bounds, paste image. Okay, moves outside the current images box. All right, so what I'm going to need to do then, what that's saying is that the photo that I'm pasting is going to be outside the bounds of this box. I would have thought it would just crop it, but apparently it needs to not do that. So what we're going to have to do is probably resize. Bottom right. So yeah, this is actually what I need to do. So point with, well, it doesn't, this actually isn't going to work because it's not doing any resizing. So Resize New Box. Okay. So cover photo, do Resize New Box. And we'll make the new photo 200 by 200, or 150 by 150, just to be safe. Run the build and look at the file. There we go. Cool. So we're pasting the file on, which is good. So what we want to do is figure out which size we want this box to be. So what I think I'd like to do is just have it be square. And maybe we'll do 1200 by 1200. Actually, let me look and see. Podcasts, iTunes, podcast, photo size. I think there's some size, yeah, okay, 14 by 14 is the minimum size. And the maximum size of 3000 by 3000. So let's do, I guess let's do 2000 by 2048 because we're programmers. So it's going to make a huge box. That means that this can probably be a little larger, but I'll leave it like that for now just to see what it's going to do. That generation definitely took a little longer than the first one. So yeah, this is actually quite large. If I zoom in, it makes a big difference. So, all right, so now what we want to do is open the episode image. We'll do image, open, and then for this one, let's see what I have. I think I have a bunch of them in the other project. So podcast.io, and let's do, is it Vader? No. Lone Wolf, yeah. There we go. So we'll use this as our sample background image that we're going to be working with. So we're going to open that. And what we need to do is resize it up, I think. Resize. Let's see what we have, if we have an option to crop. Yeah, so crop new point. What's this doing here? So with the image, you can perform manipulations on it. Sure what crop means. So crop a specific box out of the source image, modifies the source, returns the cropped self. Let's look at that Imagine bundle again. So I think that it, actually let's get the configuration file because we had that open. There we go. Square thumbnail, auto rotate, so thumbnail size. All right, so I'm thinking this thumbnail is just a filter. So let's double check and see if that's actually correct. Effects, filters. So name some thumbnail filter. So filter image. No, I don't think that's right. Resize. So I think what I need to do is get the width and height to figure out which point to start. Images. Let's see if I can get that from our file. So let's see, we got episode image. Open not found. So I'm going to manually type hint this to an image manipulator. This is abstract. Imagine interface. Size? What does open return? Open returns an image interface. Okay. I don't know why this isn't working here. Oh, that's image. I need to do Imagine. Sometimes when you're fighting against the IDE, you're doing it wrong. I don't know how many times I assume that I know more than what the code intel is saying, only to find out I was very much wrong. Let's see if I can, it contains, oh cool, so there's all sorts of things here. Heighten, get width, square. What's that method do? Doc. Chose the wrong one. Box interface. Get the current box square. So total number of pixels. I don't need that. Checks whether create a new box interface, adding given sides to both sides. Just want to see what this looks like. All right, so we got 1600. So the problem is that we're now creating a very large canvas to work on. So it's going to be a little embarrassing to do this weird math stuff here in front of people, because I'm horrible at math and figuring out these sorts of things. So what I think we need to do is find out, based on the width and height, episode image original size. Based on this, we need to resize the background image so that it is exactly 2048 by 2048, which means we're going to have to crop some values. So let's see. Actually, we can do print episode image original size, widen to width or heighten. What was it? Get square? Yeah. So I think we can use this to determine which value we should use. Actually, no, that's not right. So if width and height are the same, what we would need to do is different than if episode height is greater than the width. Because then we know which side we need to scale up or down. And then the other value is if the width is higher than this value. So let's see. So this means the image is already square. So what we can do is episode image resize. We can just resize straight to this value. So we can go straight to 2048. That will make the, if the image is too big, it'll make it smaller to the right size, and if it's too small, it'll scale it up. What we need to do here now, so this is the case where the height is greater than the width. So what we need to do is scale it based on the width. Scale based on width, smallest side, and scale. All right, so I want to see if this size, what does it mean if I do heighten? I want to find out what that actually means. Resize box to a given height, constraining portions, and returns a new box. Okay. And then this is widen. Can it actually be smaller? It looks like it can actually be smaller or larger. All right, so $new size. So we want to do scale based on width as the smallest size. So we want to widen. to 2048. I think that should work. And then here we want to heighten. So this is going to say that the height is the smallest side. So we want to make sure that the height becomes at least 2048, or we want to scale it down so that it's exactly 2048. And then we want to resize. Does box have, no, it doesn't. All right, so this doesn't actually do any resize here. So this based on this new size, so the width is going to be exactly right. What we need to do then is find out how much top and bottom need to be cut off. So we need to do new size, get height, minus 2048 divided by 2 is going to give us the Y value that we should crop. And then I think this probably needs, wow, maybe it doesn't. I will do floor just to make sure that we end up with a value. And on the other side, we need X. So we're going to do X for get width. We're going to do 2048 by 2. So this is the height now, or the width has got to exactly, this actually should have been heighten, and this should have been get width. Okay, there we go. That seemed backwards. As soon as I did this, I was like, wait, this is wrong. So for the X value, we know that it's now 2048 wide. The height now should be higher than should be more than 2048 at this point. So what we need to do is minus 2048 and divide that by 2, and that should give us the new X value. And then we should be able to image episode, crop, and see, this requires a start point, and a box interface. And so the box interface is going to be the same thing, because we're still going to want ultimately to be cropped into, or cropped from 2048 by 2048. And in the case of down here, it's the same thing, but the points are going to be different. So we'll do new point. X will be 0 by Y, because we know that X is always going to be at 0 in this case. Because that first thing screwed me up. All right. X 0, and then the other one should be 0 Y. So if we look at what we had before, we weren't really able to show it. So let's see if this crashes. Yeah. Crop coordinates must start at 0. Crop height and width must be positive integers and must not exceed the current image borders. All right, so that's, where's this at? Line 28. So this is the problem here. So what we need to do is print our $new size. and X. Actually, we'll do all of these values. And X. All right, so the original image size was 1600 by 1060. The new size is 3091 and 2048. So this works because it scaled everything up so that the height now is 2048. The X value should be this number. BC should be 3091 minus 2048. 2. So it should be 521. So let's see what I'm doing wrong here. So new size, width. All right. Minus 2048. Oh, all right. So it's just order of operations. Let's try it again. Ah, awesome. All right, well, it did it. Didn't complain. Let's see if this looks sort of like what we're hoping for. Oh, no, because we didn't paste it yet. So then we need to paste the photo. So I think, I'm going to guess that we have to put the cover photo on last. So we'll do image, paste, episode image, and then new point 0 by 0. Cool. But why? Why is it so much smaller? I would have, it's square, which is awesome, but I would have expected it to be the full width. So, all right, so the first thing we need to do is resize. So we've heightened, so we need to resize it first. Resize to the new size, and then crop it. So what it was doing is cropping the image, which was fine, but it was cropping it based on the original size. So we need to actually tell that image that it needs to be resized first. There we go. All right, let's see if that works. There we go. Cool. Let's go look at the actual episode 1. Oh, that was 0. The first one. There we go, the one with the lone wolves. All right, so let's see if we can get something similar to the look and feel of that, which is kind of the goal. What I'd like to do is just have an image that actually looks like what we'd sort of done here before. So I'm going to do some other things real quick. Let's do and let's put these at so it looks like we might actually have to spend the next session potentially looking at doing some additional things like playing with the text and potentially doing something like adding like a gradient filter or something here so that we can do things so we can make sure that the text stands out. Cool. All right, so I think I'm going to call it a little bit early today, mostly on account of wanting to look a little bit more at this package before we do this again next week. And I think that if I were going to jump into fonts right now, would probably it would probably be a little more hectic than I would like. I think the other thing I'm going to want to do is probably create the case where we have a couple of files to test, so we can make sure that it's working right or working correctly in all cases. So I want to make sure that I upload an image that is I want to upload an image that is square, an image that is horizontal, and an image that is longer on the vertical, just to make sure that everything's being centered and resized correctly and it looks like we expect it to. Thanks for joining, and if you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter. Also, we are going to have another session here on doing some stuff with the Astrocast site itself. At 8 o'clock U.S. Central, which is in 3 hours, give or take. We're going to be working with Pusher. We're going to be working with some things with adding taxonomies to the sessions so that it's easier to look things up based on frameworks or libraries, something along those lines, so that people will know when they're looking at a specific episode what's in it, aside from just the title. That'll make the browse page eventually be a little more interesting because we're going to have more things that people will be able to look through. So thanks again, and hopefully I'll be seeing you this evening.